Hello, Internet people. My name is Amanda. Salam Pochoko Malamanda Hastam. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about what is going on in the news right now, obviously with the US and Israel war against the Islamic Republic. So, initially, let's talk about what is going on around Iran in the Strait of Hormuz. So, Iran is trying, or the Islamic Republic is trying to have control over the Strait of Hormuz for oil shipments. And the U.S., I believe the U.S. has now officially touched down on Kharg Island, which is a huge, it's an oil island off the coast of Iran. It is an Iranian island, and it's an oil island, so it's not a tourist island. So, like for example, as an American, if I wanted to travel to Iran, outside of all of the geopolitics that are happening right now, Kharg Island would be where I could go, I think, without any sort of extra documentation. I believe Kharg Island is where Americans can go, or anyone abroad can go and travel to Iran without having additional documentation for travel. However, Kharg Island, Kharg, I think is how they're saying it on the news, is an oil island. And I believe as of yesterday, the U.S. has touched down on the island and is gaining control and gaining access. I am blown away by the maps on CNN. So if you happen to be following this on the major broadcasts, watch CNN's recent uploads in regards to the Strait of Hormuz, because the maps that they have up are so cool. I am so impressed. It's so cool. So if you would like an in-depth update on the Strait of Hormuz, watch the uploads that CNN has, because they have excellent coverage of it, and their visuals are phenomenal. What I wanted to discuss is the state of leadership in Iran. So as of right now, since the son of Ali Khamenei has been appointed as the supreme leader of Iran, Moshtaba Khamenei is officially now the supreme leader of Iran. He has not actually made any sort of visual contact with anyone outside of Iran publicly. So by that I mean, like any news statements, we have an audio broadcast, or there's an audio broadcast. However, the one that we're hearing is obviously dubbed. So it's somebody who's speaking English translating. There has been, as of yet, there's no confirmation that the person who is speaking in Farsi on that tape is actually Moshtaba Khamenei. So there is a good chance that wasn't him. I've also, through other broadcasts that I've listened to, there are reports that he has been seriously injured. He could be, and we actually don't even know if he's still alive. So there's a lot of discrepancy on what his status is, which puts things for the Islamic Republic on even shakier grounds, because if their newly appointed leader isn't making a visual appearance, that says a lot. So we don't even know if he is actually alive, and so that's one point. The second point I wanted to make is that, so I've also been following the broadcast that Reza Pahlavi is putting on his YouTube channel, and a couple of things that I find so cool, so interesting, is that, so he's been putting out the messages that he has been putting out on his channel have been gearing up for essentially himself being instated back in the country in a position of leadership, and calling on the people of Iran inside the country to get ready for this, essentially. And it's so cool to, it's just so cool to follow along and listen to this. And the fact that we actually have this today, there's so much that is up for debate in terms of efficacy and how, beneficial the internet is in general and technology in general. But it's moments like this where I go, I am so grateful to be living in this time where I can watch a personal broadcast in this regard, right? Otherwise, it would be on the news, and we'd be listening on the television. We'd be moving the antenna bunny ears to make sure we get the channel in clearly, and hoping that, the 3 or 4 news stations available on broadcast would be showing this. But because there's, it's open source, more or less, we have access to this now, which is such a privilege. And being able to watch this gearing up for what it sounds like is the eventual reclaiming of Iran and not the Islamic Republic. It's so cool. And there was also a recording, a video that was posted, I think it was yesterday. It was either yesterday or this morning, of Reza Pahlavi in France. So, and then after that, there was another upload of him with his regular backdrop, with the continued discussion and push towards this freeing of Iran, of the country. So to me, that says if he's already in France, like if he's in France right now and they're also uploading videos from his normal backdrop, this is a progression. So he's in France, which is that much closer to Iran, and we're also seeing videos that are from his normal backdrop, which is, like this sort of like a nice cover of, he's just that much closer to getting his boots on the ground in Iran, in Kashgar. So that's just, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen, and how this is going to play out. And it just seems like it's coming. It's, things were quiet for a couple of days, right? And that's when all of the talk of the Strait of Hormuz happened, because the actual, like, the leadership politics that was the major point of discussion was quieted for a while, and that's when we didn't hear anything about Moshe Khamenei. We didn't hear a lot more from the president in regards to and Reza Pahlavi in regards to putting him in a place of leadership in the country. And to me, what I was getting from that is they're actually in motion to do these things, right? So if we're now seeing like pre-recorded videos on Reza Pahlavi's YouTube channel gearing up for this, and then we see him in France, and we still don't know what's going on with Moshe Khamenei. There's just, things are happening, right? So it's not being discussed because they're actually happening, which I think is just, it's so good. And so most of the talk right now on the news is about oil prices and blah blah blah. I mean, in terms of like how that's affecting and impacting Americans at at the pump, it's really, I mean, the gas prices now are higher than they were, but they've been much higher historically, right? Like it's like, I think 3 something right now, and I remember when it was almost $5. So this really is not a big deal financially, in terms of day-to-day impact on Americans who rely on gas-powered vehicles for their daily commute. Not to mention the fact that many Americans have switched over to hybrids or electric vehicles, which would make it even less impactful. So really, the price of gas is not as important to the everyday American, and it's not as impactful as as it was years ago, when we were almost hitting $5 a gallon, at least in the Midwest, right? So that, I think, is important to note, is that where the discussion is going right now in the news is on gas prices and the cost of oil, and in the grand scheme of things, that's not a big deal, right? Like, we have so many alternative sources of energy that we can tap into if we've tapped out on oil, right? I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. There's solar power, there's turbines. I mean, and that is aside from the other places where we are importing fuel or shale. So I think the fact that the discussion has gone to oil is also a really great red herring. And I'm so curious to see now how this is going to play out in terms of the leadership, because things have been very hush-hush in that regard. And a lot of sort of like on Reza Pahlavi's YouTube channel, gearing up for, I mean, he's literally said, like, this is what we've been waiting for. This is what we've been working towards. It is going to happen. I mean, he's literally saying, like, it is going to happen. Like, get ready. And I think that is phenomenal. So my updates for today is that we don't know the status of Mojtaba Khamenei's mortality. And Iran is also running, or the Islamic Republic is also running out of firepower. They had control, or they had a lot of munitions within the Strait of Hormuz. They had mines, other arsenry, and that is leveled off. So we're seeing their decline in ammunition, and so they are, as I said before, like they are running out of steam. They are running out of firepower. They're running out of leadership. So let's keep our eyes and ears open and see what the next step is in this process and how everyone is playing it out. So thank you so much for watching. Please swing back around for another update, and yeah, go check out CNN's coverage on the Strait of Hormuz and their really awesome cartographic visuals. Thank you so much. Have a great week. خیلی ممنون. خدافظ و پاینده ایران.